This is Vicki Ward. She is a veteran investigative journalist, and she has just launched a new podcast called Chasing Ghislaine. You guys should check it out. In the podcast, Vicki Ward talks about how she investigated Epstein and how Epstein was a fucking creep to her. At first, he tried to charm her, and then once he realized that she was serious, that's when he started phoning her. Epstein would apparently call her daily and threaten her. He threatened her job, her husband's job, and he even threatened to put a demonic curse on her unborn children. Epstein hounded this woman, and Vicki Ward, at the behest of her lawyer, recorded every phone call and transcribed it. This podcast sounds fucking crazy. Check it out. This is Ken Starr. He was George H.W. Bush's Solicitor General. He was the lawyer that hounded Bill Clinton throughout his presidency, and he was a part of Trump's legal team for his first impeachment trial. In the new book, In Perversion of Justice, by Miami Herald reporter Julie K. Brown, it's stated that Ken Starr is the guy that put the kibosh on the 2008 Epstein case at the federal level. He wrote a letter to the DOJ besmirching the prosecutors and asking the Deputy Attorney General at the time, Mark Phillip, to review the case. And this worked. They decided they weren't going to prosecute Epstein, and they gave him his sweetheart deal. I think it's important to note that these two guys are Republicans. They're all in on it. Power protects power. Hey, do you guys know Chris Cuomo? He's the brother of the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. He's also that anchor on CNN. He's also the guy that used his position as a CNN anchor to help his governor brother cover up all of the nursing home deaths that occurred at the beginning of the pandemic in New York. Deaths that his governor brother was directly responsible for. Well, that guy's wife, Christina Greven Cuomo, was found to be in Jeffrey Epstein's second little black book. The one that Business Insider found that's from the 1990s. Now, why is Mrs. Cuomo in Jeffrey Epstein's address book? I don't know. Someone's gonna have to go on CNN and ask Mr. Cuomo, pick me, I'll do it! Man, does Bill Clinton love to party. In her new podcast, Chasing Ghislaine, Vicki Ward reveals that Bill Clinton had taken 2 previously undisclosed trips with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. In 2003, Clinton flew on a private jet owned by billionaire Ron Burkle with Ghislaine Maxwell as a passenger during a trip to India. And in 2005, he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane while visiting Japan, Taiwan, and China. Now, this is a really sad bit of information, and it's kind of disgusting too, but whenever Ghislaine Maxwell was sick of her partnership with Jeffrey Epstein, she would use Bill Clinton as an escape. For Bill Clinton, Maxwell was just as important as Jeffrey Epstein for raising money for his foundation. It also sounds that Bill was doing his fair share of chasing Ghislaine. Do you know what I hate more than powerful, corrupt, elite pedophiles? Powerful, corrupt, elite pedophiles that don't pay their fucking taxes! How is it that the IRS always shakes me and you down every year, but they fail to go after people like Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Bill Gates? Huh? According to a warrant filed by New York State Tax Department, Ghislaine Maxwell owes $1,520,558.84 in taxes. She is number 47 on New York's list of top tax delinquents. And since she's in jail, I don't think she's going to be paying any taxes anytime soon. I hate her so much. Thanks to Julie K. Brown and her new book, Perversion of Justice, the Jeffrey Epstein story, questions about Epstein's cellmate, Nicholas Tartaglione, are being reignited. One thing Brown points out is that Nicholas here had an illegal phone on him that was destroyed after Epstein hung himself. Brown also questions the prison's decision to house a sex offender with a quadruple murderer. That doesn't sound like a good idea. You're kind of asking for something to happen. Tartaglione, this reservoir of steroids, is an ex-cop that's facing the death penalty for federal murder and drug charges. It's also important to note that fucking bad lieutenant up here refused to cooperate with authorities after Epstein's death. Yo, let me clear this up real quick. Epstein had two cellmates. The first cellmate was Nicholas Tartaglione, Evil Kevin James. That was Epstein's first cellmate. I think he actually beat the shit out of Epstein, and he was transferred out, and he was replaced with Efrain Reyes, and that's the guy who died of COVID at the end of last year. Before Epstein hung himself, Efrain was transferred out of the cell, so Epstein was in there by himself when he died. So yeah, there you go. That's the cellmate timeline there. But like I said before, questions regarding his cellmates still linger. Like, why would you put a known pedophile with a quadruple murderer? You know? Doesn't seem to make sense. So his eyes will get teary, my hands will grip them tight. I'm walking down the corridor to choke Jeff Epstein tonight. But I don't care, cause all I wanna do is waste this guy so they don't put him on the news. Cause who gives a fuck, they're putting me to death real soon. The BBC is apparently producing a documentary on Ghislaine Maxwell and her father, Robert Maxwell. Recently, they were in New York interviewing subjects. These subjects include David Boyce, one of the attorneys for Epstein's victims, and various business associates of Robert Maxwell, including the guy who helped him buy the New York Daily News, which trips me out because that's where I get some of my Epstein info. The producers of the documentary were also looking to interview many of Ghislaine's New York socialite friends, but all of these socialites are dodging the producers like the plague. According to page 6, all members of higher society in New York refuse to talk to the BBC. Some people are buying the copyrights to photos both in London and New York to remove the pictures from the market that shows them with Ghislaine and or Epstein.
Well, rich people are funny.
This is Julie K. Brown. She is the journalist who ended up taking Epstein down. If it weren't for the articles that she wrote back in 2018 in the Miami Herald, Epstein would probably still be walking around free, fucking diddling people. In her new book, Perversion of Justice, Julie K. Brown explores Epstein's possible link to the Mossad. In the book, she makes note of Epstein's relationship to Ghislaine's father, Robert, who is a known Mossad spy. How big of a spy was Robert Maxwell? Well, when he died, he was given an Israeli state funeral. Julie points out the similarities between Epstein's death and Robert Maxwell's death. You know, Epstein committed suicide and Robert Maxwell accidentally drowned. So, did the Mossad take out Epstein and Robert Maxwell? Julie K. Brown says, maybe. I always see this in my videos, and I just want to let you guys know, no one's going to get killed, okay? Lots of people say that I'm going to get Hillaried. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think I'm that important. You know, I think... The fuck? This is Sarah Ferguson. She is Prince Andrew's ex-wife. Recently, Sarah Ferguson has been defending Prince Andrew in the news. She could be doing this because she's still loyal to her ex-husband, but much like her ex-husband, Sarah Ferguson also has her own ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Sarah Ferguson has had lots of financial issues regarding debt. I find it hilarious that these royals are basically set for life financially, and they still manage to fuck it up. So Sarah Ferguson was going through her financial woes, and guess who stepped in to help her out? This guy! Epstein restructured her debt, paid off her tab, and she was good. And all of this was arranged by Prince Andrew himself.